Hey everybody, I just played the most recent Unlock boxed set, which is 7 themed. It is the 7th screening, the Dragon's 7 tests, and mission number 7. These are all super highly thematic and use the cards in such a dynamic and varied way. I'm just genuinely impressed at how the designers for these continue to create a really new experience. There are some things that when you puzzle enough, you start to pick up on and you catch a lot faster than maybe some beginner puzzlers, but there are still plenty of challenging puzzles here. I will tell you for a fact that their difficulty ratings are pretty accurate. You should start with the 7th screening. It is a difficulty of 1 lock out of 3. It is the easiest. Then move on to the Dragon's 7 tests, which is 2 lock difficulties out of 3, and end with mission number 7, which is 3 locks. Now, I'm going to say that the last 2 were equally challenging in comparison to the first one. I really enjoyed the very first package. I really enjoyed the 7th screening, and that's the one I found maybe the least quibbles with, because we did get stuck a couple times in the second and third decks, but I really feel like the very first one is just super strong. So that was my favorite of the 3 decks. Let me tell you just a little bit more about them without spoiling a single thing. I promise, no spoilers ahead. I just kind of want to give you a taste for what's to come in these particular packs, these games in the Unlock 3-box set. One of the cool features in the 7th screening is that you divide into groups, and only people in certain groups can look at certain cards. That's kind of cool because you have to communicate and you have to talk about things, you have to pay attention to stuff, and you have to be able to share that with people who are not looking at your card and you don't know what you're looking for. And I found that part to be really fun and engaging. It did take us a while to get through that part, but I didn't not like it. I thought that that was actually really cool. And so I feel like we probably could have been better at describing what we see and how we are supposed to essentially fix or solve that particular part of the puzzle. Really cool. And I also think that there's a great machine feature in that section that is just so fun. Again, I'm just so shocked at how cool you can do things with your phone and the programming will recognize it. So when you play Unlock, you have your app, and your app allows you to punch in for hints or for machines or for a variety of things. And so you are trying to kind of work stuff and you get clues and hints on your cards, but then sometimes you have to go and work a machine and punch in a code or undo a lock. It's just still so cool and surprising. So I liked that feature a lot in the 7th screening. The other thing I liked is that there is a finale to it that is just so good. Like, so good. I loved it. I loved it. I was like literally on the edge of my seat, much like you are when you watch a movie, and the 7th screening is all about this black and white film, so thematically the cards go into black and white, and then there's just this huge, awesome, cool moment at the end, and I can't tell you what it is, but it's just so stinking smart and fun and tactile. Moving on to the Dragon's 7 tests, you go through 7 tests and you have to essentially figure out these riddles or these parables, and they're really interesting and fun, and it all ties together at the end. So I would say that thematically and artwork-wise, just so good. Again, there are 3 different puzzles in this box, and they are so radically different when it comes to design, when it comes to colors, when it comes to theme, and they look so different and they look perfect for their genre. So I thought this genre, this theme was just lovely and beautiful and fun. In this one, there's also a really great kind of partner experience where one person is looking at one thing on the phone and the other people are looking at these menus, and you are trying to do puzzles, saying things, giving someone the thing to punch in, and it's like timed and it's exciting and fun, and you have to kind of work out these puzzles in real time and communicate, and you know when that happens, people usually just fall apart. And so it's really fun and exciting and interactive. So I think that the riddles and these kinds of stories that you're going through, these challenges that they're asking of you, really fun, super thematic, great interactive part. Now I'm going to say that there were a couple things that really tripped us up, and it was kind of, you know, frustrating at times. But the puzzles themselves, I'm not necessarily going to super critique. I'm going to say that the shadow puppets section, a little confusing, and that was just frustrating because we weren't necessarily sure what these shadow puppets look like, and it was just kind of like we were losing time by not guessing, and then when you guess, then you do lose time if you're wrong, and so we just felt like whatever we did, we were going to lose time, and that was frustrating. So the shadow puppets, a little bit of a critique there. Good luck with it if you try it. And then I'm going to say that the final decision, I wonder I wonder what your experience is with this. Perhaps we can have a chat like off you know, the discussion forum that's public, because we made a decision and then we wondered, what about the other decisions? Was the decision meaningful in any way? And we spent a lot of time trying to make a decision, and I'm telling you, minutes and minutes and minutes. We went over by just a little bit, and I think if we'd made a decision sooner, we might have actually made it within time. Just like in the 7th screening, in the Dragon's 7 tests, there's some really fun, neat front and back card usage, and I'm a fan of using all the supplies, using all the covers, using all the everything. And so it kind of just really makes you think outside the box. And I thought that the Dragon 7 test definitely did that with the card usage. All right, moving on to the 3rd pack, which is mission number 7. This is like a spy mission, and it felt really cool. And you actually get to like go into the Oval Office and like poke around, and you get to essentially see all of these spies that are under suspicion because there is a mole, and you are trying to figure out who the mole is in this game, and you are also trying to hopefully get a positive outcome because this mole is trying to thwart plans. So you've really got to you know, accomplish all of these things under time pressure. The thing that this game offers too is that every player gets to play an agent, and this agent has an ability and has a strength that you get to use multiple times throughout the game when you think it's necessary. And so it kind of adds this extra layer to the game that isn't usually there, because you only get to play with the cards that are in play, and then once you activate new cards, other cards get, you know, the ones that you use get, you know, discarded, and you only get to see what's out there. And in this case, there are these factors that are in play every single time, and you could say, well, I think that, you know, the hacker should do this at this time, or I think that the strongman should do this, or I think that the acrobat should do this. And so you have these agents that are strong in one particular field, and they also have different puzzle pieces. So 2 of them are the blue puzzle pieces, and 2 of them are the red. And so you can actually fit parts of the cards in the game in with that person to do certain things. And I think that's really cool. So that's kind of where you start. Not necessarily spoiling anything there. It's part of the theme, it's part of the fun, and I think that the interaction with those agents and those character cards, really, really cool. This game is a 2-parter, and the decks are color-coded, so there's a chunk at the top, and that's the first deck, and you have to go through that before you start the second half of the game, and that's a different deck. And that's the first time I think they've done something like that too, at least of the ones that I've played. And that's kind of cool that they separate this into 2 parts, running you through one whole you know, section before they move you on to the next section. And it kind of helps regulate and balance the game based on the progression and what you want people to do. So really cool. Again, I like it. I like that. There's also a neat folder that you get to look at that has the stats of all the agents that are under suspicion, under question. And one of them is the mole, and you have to essentially deduce based on the cards and the information that you get in that deck to identify who you think it is and move on from there. I will say that there was a challenging puzzle or two in the second half that really slowed down our game. I'm going to say that one is not on us and everything else is on us. I will say that there were two that we really struggled with, but we should have paid more attention and we should have taken better notes. So I'm going to say those puzzles were on us and it really kind of slogged us down. We lost a lot of time just punching in wrong answers. And so we shouldn't have been doing that. We should have tried to figure it out, and we didn't. But I am going to say that there is one that was frustrating because we did not think that it could have been the obvious answer, and it was. And so we didn't just punch in the obvious thing. And I'm going to say it didn't match the pattern of things that came before it and things that came after it, and so that's why I say not on us as much as maybe on the design. So I do have a little bit of a quibble with that particular part, and the ending. All I'm going to say about the ending to mission number 7 is they pulled the oldest trick in the book, and we didn't see it coming. So if that helps you in any way, let me know. But gosh darn it if they didn't pull the oldest trick in the book. And I love them for it, but I also just so frustrating and wonderful and just kicking myself that I didn't see it. And so kudos to that move and just a great overall experience. Well, that does it for this particular Unlock Epic Adventures with all themed number 7. I hope you enjoyed this and got a taste for what these kinds of games offer. They're all so different, they're so unique, they're really interesting, and I hope you have as much fun with them as we did. There are some really cool fresh things here that you don't expect, and that kind of newness and that ingenuity with these clues and these puzzles and the hints and all of that stuff, just super, super fun and dynamic. Well, I will see you next time.